There are some words we use every single day that are kind of like Swiss Army knives for language. They seem simple, unassuming, but they are packed with hidden tools. Today, we are going to unlock the surprising power of one of the most versatile words in English. And it's probably one you've already said today.
It seems like a pretty simple question, right? But the answer? Well, it reveals a fundamental secret about how our language really works. We're about to see how this one little word can mean everything from making dinner to editing a blockbuster movie, all with the exact same 3 letters.
And there it is. Cut. Just 3 little letters. But seriously, stick with me here, because by the end of this, I promise you, you'll never look at this word the same way again. All right, so let's start with its most obvious job, as an action, a verb. This is where the word cut really does most of its heavy lifting.
So, at its most basic, most fundamental meaning is the physical act of separation. When you cut something, you're either making it shorter or you're dividing it up. Think about chopping vegetables for a salad or trimming a piece of paper. It's that direct, simple action. Here's a perfect everyday example. Jared cut the meat. The word describes a very precise action, dividing food so you can eat it. It's simple, it's clear, and it's understood instantly pretty much anywhere in the world. But from that same physical action, the meaning can get a little more personal, a little more intense. To cut can also mean to injure, to break the skin with something sharp. Yeah, it's a phrase most of us have probably said at some point. And just think about that shift for a second. The same word moves from preparing food to describing a personal injury. It really shows that with a word like cut, context is absolutely everything.
Okay, so now let's take this idea and move it into the abstract. Cut can also mean to stop a flow or to interrupt a process. So we're moving beyond a physical slice into something that's purely conceptual. For instance, when the power goes out, what do we say? We say the electricity was cut. The flow of energy was severed, right? The word works just as well for invisible forces as it does for, say, a carrot.
And in our modern world, cut plays a massive role in media. For a filmmaker, to cut a film means to edit it, to remove entire scenes, or to shorten the final product. In this case, 10 minutes of footage were just gone. It's the same core idea of shortening and refining, just like cutting that piece of paper, but now it's being applied to a huge creative work. And then, of course, there's the digital version, the one we all use 100 times a day. In computing, to cut something is to remove it, but with the specific intention of putting it somewhere else.
What's so interesting here is that the digital cut is really only half of the team. You can't really talk about it without its partner, paste. It's a 2-part process. One action removes, and the other one places.
So we've seen cut as an action word, a verb, but believe it or not, that's only half the story. The word can also be a noun, the result of that very action.
The most direct results of the action is, well, a cut. It's that physical mark that gets left behind, that scratch or opening in your skin.
This sentence shows it perfectly. Here, the cut isn't the action of cutting. It's the injury that resulted from the action. See how that works? The verb created the noun. And just like the verb, the noun form can be abstract too. A cut can mean a reduction, a decrease in something, like a budget cut, a salary cut, or a price cut. So a cut is a reduction, a decrease, like your budget getting smaller. And its opposite, its antonym, is an increase or a growth. Sometimes understanding what a word isn't makes what it is even clearer.
So we've seen cut as a verb and a noun. But that is just scratching the surface. How far does this one word's influence really go? Well, we looked into it and found at least 25 distinct phrases and related words. 25!
And this is just a quick sample. You've got a haircut, a paper cut, to cut loose, to cut a rug. Then you have related words like incision or even cutlass. It's a whole ecosystem of language, all branching out from that one simple root. It's incredible, isn't it? So this all leads to the big question. Why? Why is this one little word so incredibly versatile? What makes it so powerful? And this gets right to the heart of how effective communication actually works.
And here it is. Here's the answer.
cut is on something called the Basic English 850 list. This is a specially chosen vocabulary of just 850 words that are considered enough to communicate almost any everyday idea. So cut isn't just common, it's officially foundational to the entire English language.
And that is the big takeaway here. The most useful words in our language aren't necessarily the long, complicated ones. No, they are words like cut, simple, flexible, powerful building blocks that we can use to construct almost any idea we can think of.
So I'll leave you with a little challenge. Think about the language you use every day. After exploring the hidden power of cut, what's the most powerful, simple word that you know? Think about it. Thanks for joining me.